Hi, I'm Kate, and this is like my project, nuclear science and the effects on climate. So, nuclear energy could be produced through nuclear fusion and fission, but fusion is difficult to control, so it's not very viable as a source of energy. Fission is like fission is when an atom is like split into two lighter elements. So uranium-235 is used as it is easily split apart, and as you can see here, um, a neutron splits the uranium-235 into two lighter elements, two neutrons, and energy. The fission is used to boil water into steam and then turns blades of steam turbines to generate energy. So on to climate. Climate change is a very large issue. Anthropogenic climate change refers to significant changes in Earth's climate resulting from human activities, mostly after the Industrial Revolution. Um, so notable greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide and methane. These are released through deforestation and fossil fuel combustion, and a lot more things if you look on the right. Uh, These are greenhouse gas emissions. You can see transportation is one of them, like um cars, buses. The gas is burned, and you'll notice like that um smell produced. That is mostly greenhouse gases. Um, so um, Coal and gas are some of the worst carbon dioxide emitters. They affect the climate greatly. Um, so carbon dioxide. Um, If you look to your right, well, on the right, life cycle carbon dioxide emissions per kilowatt hour, coal and natural gases, coal and gas, they are at the top and are producing the most carbon dioxide emissions, which is bad. Greenhouse gases cause the greenhouse like gas effect, and what that does is it's like a layer that the sun infrared rays. The sun emits energy onto Earth, which bounces back. Heat is like trapped inside. It cannot like be deflected off the surface out because of the greenhouse gases, which is resulting in the warmer or hotter temperatures we have now. If you've noticed over the years. So coal produces a large amount of carbon dioxide emissions, and so does gas. You can see that on this like graph, life cycle carbon dioxide um, emissions. Coal is the largest gas, also very large, to the left of the graph. But if you notice, on the like second last, the right side, there's nuclear, and if you compare nuclear to coal and gas, it's very like drastically different. It's drastically less than a coal and gas on carbon dioxide emissions. Um, because like fossil fuels produce carbon dioxide and this is negative, clean energy has been promoted as a source of electricity. So you have windmills. Windmills use the wind to generate energy, but there's like some downsides. They're very large and tall, and birds bump into them. There's also like some downsides on depending like where the windmills are located. Like if there's enough wind to power the windmills or not. Solar panels are also a source of clean energy, but like solar panels rely on the sun, and sometimes the sun is blocked by clouds or external weather like rain, hail, storms often. So it's like very easily hindered. And then there's hydroelectric dams. This image is of Hoover Dam. Um, Dams use water um to like generate energy, streams, rivers. The thing is, this affects like wildlife that live in these like rivers, such as fish, and also on like the environment. Dams traps sediments at like the top where the dam is, and they don't allow it to go down. So it's like the silt isn't properly proportioned, and that causes water downstream to be highly erosive to natural stream banks. So nuclear as a low carbon solution. Um, Wind is naturally occurring and is inexhaustible, but is inconsistent. So windmills are kind of inconsistent in power generation and do have negative impacts on landscapes and wildlife. Solar panels are also rather beneficial, but they require large like upfront investment. Um Also they require large amounts of land at times if you're generating a lot of energy. If you've seen like a farm, solar power farm, um, you want a lot of surface area in order to generate more energy with solar panels. So, a lot of land would be used to generate this energy, which can be a bit of a downside. Um, the hydroelectric dams are renewable. They use turbines to produce mechanical energy, but also they're very large, and so construction costs are large, and the impact on aquatic ecosystems is quite negative. Um, because dams are built by rivers or streams or on them, and everything that lives in the river or stream is affected. Nuclear, however, is like it provides consistent, reliable, affordable, low carbon energy, and also is able to run 24/7 all year and would also not be restricted to certain locations. IPCC mentions um like information on greenhouse gases and what fossil fuels like contribute to them. It also mentions that electricity is high in demand. We use it more and more over the years, and fossil fuels they produce greenhouse gases, and there's like this negative feedback loop. Um, Say in the summer you're using air conditioning, offices use them, homes use them. Um, the heat would like induce you to want it to be colder, so more energy would be used on the air conditioning. But fossil fuels are feeding the greenhouse gas, like the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So that's not very good. Um, so you would want a low or better no greenhouse gas emission for like the source of electricity. That is, um, well, nuclear is a low to non greenhouse gas emission source, which would be beneficial. We would also um so considering like public acceptance. You want the public to like agree to using nuclear. Um, it'd be kind of strange not for the public to agree. There have been like public concerns, but there's like surveys even over the years. You can notice um favorability has increased over the years, and on the right, it seems that the more informed someone is, the more they favor it because you know more about like the benefits and how like nuclear energy works, how it's like formed. There's still like concerns, of course, like incidents in the past, some significant incidents of nuclear meltdown, which is when the reactor overheats and isn't cooled properly. These incidents include the Three Mile Island in Pennsylvania, Chernobyl, and Fukushima. Um, when meltdowns happen, they affect the surrounding areas, and like radiation poisoning would occur after a meltdown, which is very negative. It's long lasting and such. It's very important to prevent nuclear meltdowns, which is why safety measures would need to be implemented and followed very closely. Um, so this current concern would be able to be addressed if the reactor isn't overheated and is cooled down properly. Um, so on waste management, which is also a safety concern, nuclear waste or radioactive waste, there's concern about it, like how is it disposed of and such. So radioactive waste is often isolated and diluted to the point any radionuclides returned to the biosphere are harmless. So there are measures taken to make sure that disposed waste does not harm the environment and will not be negative to people, the environment, and such. There's also other concerns. If you notice, um, in order to like cool down the reactor, you use a coolant. Water is a coolant, and large amounts of water may be used in multiple processes in generating nuclear energy. Um, but like worry not. The water is handled carefully and recycled and strictly regulated. Um, there are like strict thermal pollution laws to make sure that water is returned safely if returned. Because well, for example, as a coolant, it would be absorbing a lot of the heat and putting that back into like streams or such bodies of water would be dangerous if there are no like precautions to make sure that the water won't harm aquatic life. So there are like measures taken to make sure that it's safe. Um, some nuclear power plants have been considered to be built near water, such as like the ocean, to minimize like drawbacks from consuming water. There's also like concerns on the cost of um nuclear power plants. Um, there's like the cost to build it and operating it. But if you look in this graph, you'll notice that there's like coal and gas, and these increase more over time compared to nuclear. Nuclear would be quite beneficial in the long run in terms of like fuel costs here. The potential of nuclear energy is rather positive. It is argued that electricity generators need to transition from fossil fuels to low carbon generation. Um, if you notice on the right, green hydrogen cycle. So nuclear has lots of like benefits. Um, One way to produce hydrogen without emissions is like through electrolysis by splitting water into pure hydrogen and oxygen. The nuclear reactors are well suited to provide this, like the heat and electricity needed to produce clean hydrogen, which is good. And also, like, nuclear is highly promising, and advanced reactors may tackle previous bottlenecks such as like cost and build time and waste. So it's like improving over time and is rather promising. Thank you for your time. Um, Here are all of like my sources I've used for this presentation.